Yes, sir, we can start.
So, good afternoon, all members. Today, we are having a seminar jointly with Kozhikode, Palakkad, and Kannur branch on the topic of professional opportunities for CA and the new networking guidelines. Recently, the institute has taken up initiative for renewing the networking guidelines, whereby few changes have been made which are effective from this year itself. So, as you know, today in this COVID pandemic, many of the members, many not most of the members, are facing large difficulties in physical commuting and also having the work from office situations. So, as you all know, our work of professional diligence involves work from many other professionals as well, like advocates or other values as such. So it might be greatly benefited that now the institute has come up with this idea of associating with other professional organizations and bodies and allowing members to have multidisciplinary firms, which shall be the future course of our profession also. So in this regard, we thought that this seminar would be of great importance to all members. So to get most benefit, we jointly organized this program. I'm humbled, greatly humbled today that our faculty Dayanidhi Sharma, who has been who has been the Central Council member and also in this digital board, has taken this initiative and accepted our request on having this seminar for us. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Kozhikode branch, Kozhikode, Palakkad, and Kannur branch, I welcome you, sir, for this session. Also, there is no introduction which is required, but still, our regional council member, Jomon sir, who has always been for great help for us on any matters regarding to anything which is related to the institute. So, on behalf of all the three branches, I also welcome you, sir, for this session.
Thank you, Arun.
So I wish all members a great learning session and have good number of benefit from this session. So now I request our Jomon sir, regional council member, to kindly felicitate and inaugurate this program.
Is that the way it is structured, Arun? Would you like the other branch chairman, Vinod Janraji, to say a few words, or is towards the end?
Sir, it will be at the end. After you have inaugurated, I'll just hand over to Kannur branch, sir.
No, I will not inaugurate. I will felicitate inauguration, okay. And the speech has to come from Dayanidhi Sharma ji only, Central Council member.
Okay.
Good afternoon to all of you. Very dynamic chairman of the Calicut branch, my dear friend Arun Subramanian. Chairman of the Kannur branch, another dear friend PJ Reggie. Chairman of the Palakkad branch, Vinod Menon, another dear friend, again on land and on sale. Last year we had a sale year before last under the chairmanship of Vasudevan sir, a very unique program. I was fortunate to be part of that. Today's very learned speaker, respected Central Council member, CA Dayanidhi Sharma from Hyderabad. As all of you know, he is second generation in action. His illustrious father, Lakshminarayan Sharma sir, was also a Central Council member. Dayaji came into the council and is serving the third year this year. And has been part of many of the new initiatives of the institute, including the UDIN, which has come to be a big insulation immunity for our professionals from unscrupulous operators, the implementation of the self-service portal, and many of the revolutionary initiatives about which we'll hear more from him, from the host's mouth directly. And so nice of you, Dayaji, to have come to Kerala, though virtually, and address this program. And all the chairmen should be happy that you have hit a century. The count is now 106, so faster than Virat Kohli. You have hit a century, like a 2020 mode. So that's really nice. Compliments to the three branch chairmen for putting all these elements together. And once again, thank you for making me part of this program. Yes, the profession, we always use it as it had become a cliche at every point of time to say that the profession is at crossroads. But today, the profession is facing multiplicity of challenges in the form of pushing in by sister institutes, foreign accounting bodies. Then, of course, technology is completely revolutionizing the work sphere of chartered accounts, the scape of chartered accountants. Then we also have the challenge of having the compliance practice, which is fading out, as we have experienced, or rather sadly felt in the recent past, that GST audit has been done away with. Representations have been made when the Honorable Finance Minister had come here, when Suresh Prabhu sir had come here. We had all met him and made strong presentations, both of them, representations that the economy, the system of GST, our country rather, the taxpayers have not reached that level of maturity of compliance and honest compliance, and therefore audit should not be done away in a hurry at the cost of compliance. While cost of compliance is important, it is also important that tax compliance has to be in place. It's not just a cost and ease of doing business. Therefore, we have done our part from every, and centrally also the Central Council, as well as the President, Vice President, all of them have made this point, but then we are waiting for yet to get the response, a positive response from them. Tax audit limits have been raised, so many of us have that kind of a challenge. And not on a negative note, but then the bank audit again, the recent guidelines are disturbing in the sense that smaller firms will find it difficult to pull on, and which bank audit was a very important source of revenue and a different kind of a work learning experience for every one of us. So on all these spheres, we do not have so much of positive news. Added to that are the woes thrown up by the pandemic, where we are not able to move around, meet clients, interact, meet personally, having the required physical meetings, fellowship, fun, all that is missing out. So it's very difficult times that we are passing through. But the profession has, in this existence more than 70 years, have weathered more difficult situations, more stringent conditions, and therefore let us be optimistic while being careful and while being staying safe at home. Let us be hopeful that this too shall pass and will surely emerge as a profession of great relevance in the economic development of the country. And of course, we will have our share of new assignments or new responsibilities coming from the government. This is on the one side, and it is this point of time that the Calicut branch, jointly with Kannur and Palakkad, has decided to organize a program like this, because we essentially need to look at new vistas, greener pastures, where grazing fields, where we can have newer things to be taken up. So compliance practice, as I mentioned, and it is more like a trust-based compliance, more like a system-based compliance that is being envisaged or contemplated by the government. Therefore, validations at every level by finance professionals like chartered accountants may not continue to be there for a long time, the way we used to have in the past. Because technologies, and again, in the case of bank audits, if you look at the new generation banks, the percentage of branches audited by the new gen banks is HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank are less than 5%. So new generation banks, the nationalized banks and the other scheduled banks also would probably follow suit. With all that, very important that we look at new opportunities. Of course, on the other side, there are green shoots. The startup revolution which is happening, the profession has a great role to play there. And of course, as Arun mentioned, there's also a need to have a multidisciplinary expertise, which is not easy. Of course, we have a lawyer in our fold, but not formally on board. It is to have a lawyer or a company secretary or a cost accountant or an IT professional, a techie to be on board is very, very important as we move forward. So with all that, the new guidelines are, opening, enabling clause, I would say, enabling initiatives taken by the institute. And the AG has been part of all that. And therefore, plus the new opportunities which have to essentially emerge in the form of developing new tech skills. Recently, we had a thorough review of a concurrent audit function of a major NBFC, Kerala-based NBFC, where we suggested that a lot of RPA can make a huge difference instead of this unqualified people flipping through repetitive work through files and all that. So robotic process automation, they're tying up, and we had a few meetings with the RPA people. So on the lot of changes we are suggesting in the sphere of them. But then the most important point to be remembered is that artificial intelligence cannot replace professional judgment and the professional skepticism today, which is seen amplified in the context of the pandemic, being more careful, more skeptical exercising more of skepticism as required by SA 200 and the various publications of the institute which has been issued in the backdrop of the pandemic. Therefore, I'll not take any further of your time. Thank you so much for having me here, and let us look forward to hearing Dayaji on the latest developments, new opportunities, and how the profession should, every one of us individually and the profession collectively should conduct ourselves into the future. I wish the program all the success, the joint program of these three very active branches, Kozhikode, Kannur, and Palakkad, jointly organized, with the blessings and presence and the presentation of another dear friend, Dayaji. So welcome, Dayaji, once again to Kerala, though virtually. Once pandemic subsides, we had promised a lot of visits, which is not happening. So therefore,
Yes.
let us work on those lines. So wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for this opportunity to interact with you. COVID is not gone. COVID is at its peak. Therefore, let us stay safe, stay focused. Most importantly, stay determined. God bless every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words. Now I request our Kannur chairman, Register, to kindly take over and introduce the faculty and also have the opening words.
Chairman of the Calicut branch, C. Arun Subramanian. Chairman of the Palakkad branch, C. Binoj Menon B. Most respected speaker for today's virtual CP seminar, C. Dayat Divas Sharma, Central Council member of the ICAI. The friend and supporter, past chairman and member of the Southern India Regional Council, Joman K. George sir. For the managing committee members of the three branches, illustrious past chairman, and my professional colleagues. A very good afternoon to all of you. And I deem it as a great honor and pleasure to introduce before you the faculty for today's virtual CP seminar, C.A. Dayandiva Sharma, Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. C.A. Dayandiva Sharma qualified in the year 2005 and did his articleship with the Pricewaterhouse. Thereafter, he revived Lakshmi Nivasan Company, chartered accountant firm, and the firm took the staff strength from 1 to 130 within a just period of 16 years. And the firm contributed 100 plus chartered accountants to the fraternity. Their group is one of its kind to be called as Indian multinational firms or Make in India firm of chartered accountants. He has been covered by a coffee table book and recognized as Young India Visionary by IMG Motivate Innovative Media Group in the Hall of UAE. At ICAI, in national and international forums, he took sessions and seminars on 23 plus topics. And he qualified as a certified information system auditor and certified forensic auditor. And his role at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India includes chairman, peer review board, and he is the chairman of Members and Student Service Directorate, including SSP. He is the vice chairman, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. He is the vice chairman, Financial Reporting Review Board. He is a board member, Quality Review Board, and board member to XBRL India. He is a member of Union Directorate, Digital Transformation Process Re-Engineering Group. He is the chairman of Center of Excellence, Hyderabad. He is a member of multiple central committees of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Dear members, with these few words, let me very proudly present before you the faculty, the speaker for today's virtual CP seminar, C.A. Dayandiva Sharma, and wish you all a very happy learning session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairmans of all the three branches, my wishes to you and thank you very much for inviting me. All the managing committee members as well. And more importantly, a very dear friend who's been known to me from quite a long time now. And since when I started planning to come to Kerala, since then, I think I don't know what he wanted. He actually put some or the other lockdown. So every time either he was not available or I was not available, but we were just trying to come. But yes, a very dear friend, Joman. Friends, one, though it might sound a little political, but let me just openly and open-heartedly say that, you know, everything good thing comes to an end and new thing starts. So that is how the new rising star of our Kerala is going to be Joman. So I request each
Thank
one of you to actually see that he comes to the central level, because his knowledge, his ability, his capability, his demonstration of his administrative skills, we all have seen it from the branch level to the regional level to all the functions where he has been participating. Joman, I pray for your coming into the council, and I I appeal all to kindly support you and ensure that they encourage you to make it possible, because we all know that how challenging the things are, and we do not know first of all the December elections how it is going to happen. But yes, it is going to happen here or there. But when I get an opportunity, it is important that I share with you all people.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you have been always a knowledgeable guy in the entire system. I've heard you the other day when you were speaking on standard on auditing. Amazing contribution, Jamun. Look forward to share some dias with you. When you speak half, I speak half, and the combined synergy comes out in a total different manner. And thanks to all the three branches of Kerala, which is hosted this program today. This topic is something very close to my heart, which I'm going to share with you. But before I share something, let me just show you one picture which I just downloaded when Joman was talking about the crossroad and the newer opportunities, which will give you some message, I believe. If you see this, the world is changing fast. Big will not be beat the small anymore. It will be the fastest beating the slow. So this is something which we need to actually remember when we move forward. Opportunities are there, huge opportunities are there. But the fact is very simple, that how much we want to explore and see what is moving. In that continuation, I'll just share one more photograph with you all people, which I generally keep it on my system, which you all will appreciate. Now, the comfort zone of tax audit and GST audits, I think we need to come, because life is larger than that comfort zone. So I think it is time has come that we all chartered accountants have to move out of the comfort zone, what we are thinking about. And compliments to Arun, because he was the person who contacted me, and all the three chairmen agreed. Thanks to them also that we came here for the discussion of networking guidelines and newer opportunities. But before taking you to the networking guidelines, if one more thing which I can ask each one of you is, if you want to keep the screen on, I'll be happy, so that I'll also understand that you are all receiving my message, which I am trying to put in from my side. You can keep it open, this totally comfortable, even if anyone is on a t-shirt and all, doesn't matter, because this is something very important. And this is the turning point of our profession, which we are actually putting into. So friends, the networking concept, I still remember the time where we, last year during the lockdown, we used that entire opportunity for the benefit of members. For the benefit of members. Joman, can you imagine that we had 21 meetings to finalize these networking guidelines? And we have aligned these networking guidelines from the entire global perspective, which is one of the most important one, which our members can really understand and appreciate how these thoughts have actually gone in and aligned into the Indian requirement. This is the most crucial thing which we need to all understand. How, because see, one side the CP learning, subject learning is right, that we need to do it on a continuous basis. But the most important part, friends, is that now we need to actually think about what is our way forward. If I have to walk out of my comfort zone, what I should do? Are there any avenues? Because we think, you know, in a smaller city, people think that, I'm from a small city, I cannot get opportunity. Am I right? Agreed or not? Most of the people will say that I am from a smaller city, I don't have an opportunity to do it. But equally is the other side of the coin, where it is a larger city, people say that I don't get an opportunity to work. How is it possible? It cannot be a situation where both things can be negative, right? It has to be positive somewhere. That means, are we seeing the right side of the coin is something which we need to really reevaluate and understand how we can move forward. Time has over. where things are now, that time is over, which I'm going to share in my presentation. And it is very critical that, how seniors and juniors can come aligned together and ensure that things are going to move in the right direction. I'll start my presentation to share with you all. I need one help from all people. When we are going to discuss about all this presentation, I want people to come on the screen and stop me wherever they feel it is, and we can deliberate because we have full 2 hours time, right? So let us start the discussion. Creating big Indian firms, CA firms. This was the aim which was being given by the Prime Minister of in this country in 2017 on 1st July, when he came on the dais and he talked about many things, including creating big Indian firms. Why we are only dependent on those international firms, and why not Indian firms are not able to move forward. For us also to move from 2017 to 2021, it took 4 years time to evaluate where we want to move towards and how we want to guide our firms where they have to move, and ultimately how it can be a new age audit firm. This is something very, very important. Please listen to me. I am going to take you through the past, right? What was in past, what is current, and how we need to plan way forward. And these statistics, I think couple of them who have attended my seminar in other forums, they might have seen that, but it doesn't stop me to share, because even if these numbers come before you again and again, it makes a whole lot of difference in your decision making. So friends, this is actually the status of our profession. If you want to see, we have 387,000 members across the length and breadth of the country, which are including the deceased members. But total register of members is 387,110. Out of that, if you see how many ACAs are there, FCAs are there, and COP holders and non-COP holders. Let us think for a moment where this is standing. I'll just change the presentation from a traditional thing to the current way of looking at things. Now, I think this will give you some more insight. Just imagine we have 88,300 firms in the country, 88,300 firms. Out of 88,300 firms, 62,000 firms are actually proprietary concerns. You agree? Can you see the statistics which is there? 62,000. And if you see the impact of this proprietary concern, that can be seen. You talk to Babu sir, he'll tell you. In the recent RBI amended circular which has come for the appointment, they talked about we don't want proprietary concerns. We want partnership firms. That was the message which was being given by the RBI circular. Why is it so? Because the government also is realizing the fact, the regulator also is realizing the fact that one man cannot be a master in everything. Those days are gone when only statutory audit, tax audit were there. Nothing more than that was there. But now today, the kind of situations which have actually come in is unimaginable, unimaginable. If I take you to the last number, which is 51 partners and more, in a state, in a country of 29 states, we do not have 29 firms which are about 50 partners. And if I start showing you the Chinese firms model, they have 1,000 partner firms, 1,000 partner firms. So technically, where are we heading towards? And the most important part in China is, if you want, I am just giving a comparison on the size wise, right? If you talk about China, the population and everything is almost similar, nothing different. But in China, they don't have firms. Top 4 firms are Chinese firms, not the big 4s of the world. Top 6 firms are Chinese firms, not the big 6 of the world. Top 10 are Chinese firms, not the big 10 of the world. So that is how they actually ensured that, they are totally combined and kept it everything in their control. Rather, in our case, we have actually divided it so much that it is not controllable. If you see 62,000 members, firm, partner, proprietors are there. 23,000 firms are there, which is between the range of 2 to 5. 6 to 10 partners, 1,932. 11 to 15 partners, 288. So if you see the statistics and just see the COP holders and non-COP holders, the non-COP holders are increasing and the COP holders are coming down. Kannur chairman sir, tell me one thing. In the country of 130 crore population, where we have more than 9 lakh companies which are subjected to audit, right? We have only 1,46,000, COP holders. Only 1 lakh. And what is the competition which we are creating? Can you just think for a moment? Why are we actually underpricing sometimes? We need to really think about how we can reprice ourselves rather than underpricing ourselves. The competition is filing of GST return. I ask each and every member who is attending today. We have 124 members today who are, in the discussion. What did we do from 2017 till date, in the GST? We are today realizing the fact that, GST audit is gone. But what did we do? Technically, if you go back and think about 2015, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about Digital India, right? In which they talked about 1,13,000 crores of budget. And today we are seeing the fact that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister says that, this entire GST is settled. Thank you very much. We don't want audit. Right? That means the entire stabilization time is being done by who? Chartered accountants. What did we charge? Go back and check your financial statements. Dates revised, but our fees never revised. Am I right or wrong? You charge 5,000 rupees for the same engagement. Yes or no? Though the date might have changed 4 times, 5 times, extensions have happened, but why have we not thought about? It's assuming that we are going to lose the business. So technically what has happened in the process is we are not understanding the strength we have by having only 1,46,000 COP holders. Just imagine, only 1,46,000. We think that because we are living in a small community of chartered accountants, we see chartered accountants across on the table every time. But the society and the public at large doesn't see that number of chartered accountants each at the length and breadth of the state and the city. We are assuming that we are going to lose. Huge market opportunity is there, which I'm going to discuss in my couple of slides going forward. I hope till here, see if I'm little hard, but it is not for any other purpose. I'm just sharing my views. If my firm has grown from 1 to 130 or 140 people, it's not because I have been only focusing on the tax audit and GST audits. There is much more that we can do. So this is what I wanted to share with you all people. Now let us see. This numbers can be justified by this UDIN data which is there, right? Yeah, are you all able to see? I want some messages to come on my chat box. Otherwise, I feel that everyone just had a quick meal, early lunch, and then switched on the camera and happy tata goodbye. So
Dayaji, the Jomonia going is good. The slides are visible. So there is a question. If you want to say, Jamshid has said, what do you think the reason Indian firms are not going for partnerships? Anyway, probably that will be addressed in your presentation.
So in
going
my
is
presentation,
good. All of us
Jamshid,
are with you.
it'll come. It'll come in my discussions. So let us see this particular thing. This is the statistics of 1 full year, right? 1 full year. If you see limited review reports, 50,000. Internal audit reports, we have generated 65,000 UDINs. Then you see statutory audit of corporate entities, which is 7,17,000. That means we have 8 lakh entities, which is there, right? Close to 8 lakh entities we have, registered companies we have, 8.5 lakh, but 7,15,000 is here, 17,000 is here. Miscellaneous certification is 3 lakh. Just see the kind of ratio which is actually giving us the kind of good comfort or a bad comfort. Technically, if you go back and see the total numbers, now you go in the GST. When you talk about the GST and income tax audits, just see 3CB, 3CA, how many? 26 lakhs, 26,000. Multiply with any of the fees you want. GSTR 9C, 11 lakh 98,000. And this is now going to go off. Am I right? So now my point to you, each one of you is, if you are looking into this statistical number, I am going to discuss something more important, alarming, but I am telling you one thing. This discussion which I am doing is in individual capacity of Dayanivas Sharma, right? As a chartered accountant who has come to deliver a lecture to all the friends. Not as a central council member, nor any opinion of institute is actually been demonstrated in this entire discussion. Only the statistical number I have taken from the institute. That's all. Other views are going to be my own. Now let us take the next point. What is the next slide? If you have seen this number, 7 lakh for statutory audit, and 2 lakh is for non-corporate statutory audit, which is something very surprising and alarming, right? You agree or not? How can be a listed entities, private limited companies be more than non-corporate entities? Have you ever thought about it? Because no, with the tax audits cannot be without the GST signing, right? This UDIN signing, right? So just see these numbers. This itself is going to be something very interesting for all you people, right? Now, current area of focus with that statistics is very simple and clear. I think types of audit in India: internal audit, statutory audit, Companies Act, income tax audit, GST audit. Maximum is bank audits, right? Which is annual affair. Then we have project financing, which is we do generally something here and there. Certain firms do that. Then followed with direct tax and indirect tax representations, which we are talking about. This also is badly impacted because of the faceless scrutiny and faceless assessments. Now, you are not generating UDIN. This the direct and indirect tax representation, you don't ever generate UDIN. But huge number of business, volume of business is there in that, which also is actually moving towards the faceless. So is it impacting the profession? Are we thinking that it is impacting the profession? Or it is basically government is actually ahead of us when compared to we being ahead of them? My question is very simple, followed with new areas somewhere on listed entities and all, Ind AS that has come, but again a limited scope, followed with one more thing, systems audit, which we did. Jovan, can you imagine the Sunday, we did a program on how to approach for system audit. You know how many people participated at the country level? 18,000 people on a webinar, which is the largest in the country till now. That's the only thing which I'm telling. That means 18,000 people have started something new in thinking. So now we need to move from a point of income tax audit. You all will agree, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All will agree income tax audit is impacted because the threshold limit is gone up. GST audit is actually gone, right? Technically, what has happened? We have settled the entire GST framework, and now the advantage has been taken over by the government because entire data for the government within no time, they just press a button or whatever the number is been given, say example F4 for issuing notices, F5 for issuing people who have not paid the taxes, F6 for people who have not paid the demand on time. Just press, automatically the notices will go. Khatam. All the process is over. Including, I am going to talk something very alarming and which we all have to really understand where we are moving towards, right? I'll just take you through this. Just see this. You have seen in the UDIN portal that we have signed 7 lakh balance sheets, right? Of a private limited or limited company. What is the exemption which is there in the world in the smallest of the economies and the largest of the economies? Smallest of the economies and the largest. Smallest is like Malaysia and Singapore doesn't require an audit to be done if the turnover is less than 0.1 million or 0.3 million or size of assets, and employee count is less than 5, right? In Singapore, less than 10 million turnover and less than 10 million worth of assets. Just imagine if those kind of countries where the number of chartered accountants are less, I'm going to share that statistics also with you, where they have United Kingdom, the oldest economy of the world, rather I can say, 10.2 million turnover. If it is less than 10.2 million, I need not do an audit. If it is 5.1 million worth of assets, I need not forget about this, including place where we regularly travel, Dubai. They don't have compulsion for doing an audit, including if you see in country like United States of America, there is no legal requirement for privately held entities to have audited financial statements. Can you just imagine? These are the countries where, because of their system processes and the way they do the entire business, because India was having a parallel economy and we have moved towards a single economy model. Now the things are getting settled. The smallest of the retailer is also paying GST and he's actually capturing all the data from there. All these things are realistic things which are happening. And this might be a situation which I would like to tell you Let me just take you back. Right? Now, keeping this in your mind, see the statistics. See the statistics and tell me from till when we are going to be relevant. If we are not going to move from the tax audit, GST audit, statutory audit to something new, what is something new? We'll discuss. I promise you, I'll not let you, stop here itself where you are missing out on on newer thoughts and newer opportunities, which I'm going to take you through. But the fact which is going is basically you are talking about 11,98,000 UDINs, which is going to get vanished. 7,17,000 might become half, right? The non-statutory might increase little bit here or there. But again, when the tax audit limits are going to be increased, this is also going to come down with whatever the limit we have, we are talking about. So why I'm showing you this is not to create a fear. In a capacity of a council member, I have to take you through the entire process and transition which is taking place at the global level, right? Till here, all are with me, or any doubt which is there. Let me just, before taking the questions from people, I'll just show you something very interesting. This is like which we discussed, right? Now, in the world, we are one world, right? Let me just take you through this. We have 7 continents, 195 countries, 162 accounting bodies. Only one accounting body with 3,87,000 members, which is ICI, right? Let me take you through something very interesting. That statistical number and the number of exemptions which I'm talking. Now you compare with this. Now you compare with this. We are 3,87,000 members with 1,48,000 only in practice versus CPA, which is having an exemption of non-public exposure entities which are exempted from audit. They have 6,64,000 CPAs, and the population is lesser than us. The number of tax cases, or might be the signing cases, are less than us. We have more. How are they surviving? Have you ever thought about it? Jamshed, you are there on the screen. Can you just think over why they are actually surviving and they are doing well when compared to our chartered accountants in the country? Manish sir, you are also there. Mujib, you are also here. Think for a moment. Why are we behind? What is keeping us behind? Can you just tell? I'll stop sharing for a moment if you want. Can you just think for a moment? Why in a country like United States, where the exemptions are so many, they are ahead of us? Why in country like Singapore, they charge not less than $3,000 for signing a nil balance sheet? Why is it a case that is the only case is we underprice ourselves, we do not understand our intrinsic value, and most importantly, we charge assuming that we are going to lose. We might lose a client, and we underprice ourselves. Now the time has come when United States of India, USA, so many chartered accountants are there, and the companies are restricted. People who have to pay taxes are restricted, and more importantly, their tax filings are so systematic that any educated guy can sit and file their returns. Are we not moving towards that kind of thought process? Just think for a moment. I am telling largest economy, no less of audits with exemptions. So I don't have much to say. It is time where we need to reprice. They charge hourly basis and we charge annual basis. His client's wife, client HUF, client partnership firm, client private limited company, client's son's daughter-in-law, all things is included in last 40 years, 50 years, with that 10,000 rupees fees sometime, or 30,000 rupees sometime, or 1 lakh rupee fees that time. Why when we go to their store, if I buy a suit from that shop, will they give our children discount for our children? Children clothes at a discounted price, will they give it? Any client you tell me, he'll never give you, but we give. Why? We are large-hearted people. We are partner in nation building. We want to ensure that economy grows, but we don't want to grow. We only want people well-being, but our well-being is not ever been considered. You can waste your nights with your staff, time and again with extension of dates, again and again with the same fees, but the client doesn't understand what you are trying to do. Why are we actually in that frame of mind? We are only 1,40,000 47,000 members here. Let us rethink, how do we reprice ourselves? Why should I just leave them just like that? He might be doing a lakhs and crores of turnover. How much is the cost to pay additional? Just think it for a moment. I'm going to take you somewhere else, right? Anyone would like to add value? I'm opening, let us make it little, uh, discussion based. Rather, if I would have been physically there, I would have stood in between, putting all the chairs around and talking to each one, putting eye to eye contact. Because it is time that we need to really see our mirror. We have to stand before the mirror and actually reevaluate where we are heading towards. Mohan sir, you have been into practice from years together, right? Tell me one instance where a client has come in when your family had a good gathering or family, functions were there, where a client came and gave you an extra 1 lakh rupee check, saying that you have been associated with me. But when they have problem, no, you go and stand there. You leave your wife, your children, your parents at home, then you go and stand there. They don't recognize us. Where are we heading towards? I am not telling you to be commercial. I am telling you to reprice. That's all. Our efforts are not simple. Our people are very few. We are actually discounting that few also. We cannot get into a minority mode. We are actually a premium service, right? So that's what I just wanted to share with you. If anyone has a view, there are clients like that too, sir. Non-ethical, yes, whatever, doesn't matter. But the point is, we need to ensure that we are moving in a right direction. Let me share the presentation back again. Share. Right? So till here, all together with me, or no nap, right? No one is a nap mode.
No, it's going good.
No,
sir.
no snoring.
Oh, no snoring. That's a so let's see how we are moving towards, just on a global front, when we are looking at how we are how can we actually be like this. I'm really a little surprised now, considering all these factors and the statistics of what we have. Friends, time has gone where people, when they were running individual practice firms, they were able to do it for all good purposes. But now the complex, rightly said by Joman, that the varieties have actually increased, and people want variety of people to be talked about. When I come into an office, when I as a client come to your office, I want to talk to a different person. Okay, Dayanima Sharma is separate by, he is my friend, that is not a problem. Where is your GST partner? Where is your audit partner? Where is your tax partner? People come with that perception. When we want to go into a multi-speciality hospital, or when you want to go into a multi-storied building mall, that means all these people who are coming to us also would like to see the similar way, right? Considering this, this is a very good statement which has been, I have tried to make it from my side, but it is united in diversity. I think time has come where we need to understand our individual strengths and get united to make it one big, right? The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. We all think, I ask one simple question, Mujib sir, tell me one thing. Would you like to do a very large audit? Yes or no? Right? When we want to do a very large audit, the large audit also wants to have a large firm. Right? It cannot be with me as a proprietary concern. If your firm has 5 partners, 7 partners, 10 partners, then my client will come to you rather than coming to me. I'm alone. So the point is very simple. Considering all these factors, we thought, why not we revamp the entire thing? And the entire discussion today is going to line in this 4 important way forwards which our institute is giving. Friends, let me proudly say one thing. No institute in the world No institute in the world has this kind of structure which has been placed for the benefit of our members. If our members don't take the benefit of this, then no one can help us because they don't need, they are already large firms. But in case of India, because it is a unique country altogether, we have actually created this 4 different things altogether, which I'm going to discuss today, which is the reason for which Arun called me to have discussions. Now, what is a coverage? Coverage is primarily the preamble. There is a very thoughtful preamble which has been put for the networking guidelines. Concern relating to the growth of Indian CA firms. Can you just imagine? We deliberated in 21 meetings about all these facts. Each and every line item was being discussed. Why networking is required? They should know why networking is required. What are the models in which we can work on? This is something which is going to be very interesting. Listen to the first part of the entire discussion, which is the one is A is networking, 2 is corporate form of practice, 3 is mergers, and 4 is MRAs, MOUs, which we are going to talk about. Right? Now, what is the preamble saying? Let us think about, we have been the first institute in the world in 2005, where we introduced the concept of networking, which was been revised in 2011, which is furthermore finalized in the God's own country, Kerala, Kumarakom, in January, when we had the council meeting in Kumarakom. And that was been completely given finalized to this entire discussion on 9th and 10th February council meeting. And this has been rolled out. This has been rolled out. We had a very long deliberation. Need to strengthen Indian CA firm to create an Indian large firm. That was the preamble with which we thought, okay, this is a discussion. Let us not get biased. Let us not think in a different direction. Let us only make it one agenda that we want to make Indian big firms, big Indian firms. ICI has noted the bottlenecks, what have been there in the past. What have been there in the past, because in 15 years we could create only 100 networks. Out of 100 networks, might be 90 are actually closed also. And we realized we wanted to realize what are those bottlenecks that need to be captured. So considering these points, we actually listed down some important aspects of the networking. What are the concerns? Majority of CA firms are SMPs. You agree to this statement which I have made with the statistics which has been given, where 62,000 firms are proprietary concerns or individual partners, which is 70% of that. And the balance 20% is actually still lying in the zone of less than 10 partners. So that is where we wanted to make. Large firms, a large number of firms have confined practice to audit and taxation, which you again realize with the UDINs which I have given, right? Earlier, earlier we never had the statistics that we could easily take it. But fortunately, thankfully, everyone has appreciated UDIN, and UDIN has given us that statistics to understand where are we actually heading towards. So this is where the second point is coming. Many firms have audits allotted through ICI PDC, which is bank audit, C&AG audit. Right? Bank audit, C&AG audit, cooperative audits, and NABARD audit, this audit, that audit, concurrent audit, all that mechanism of useless 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 rupees fees. And our energies are actually going into that rather than focusing on something larger, which I'm going to discuss today. Attachment with firm name, disguised merger. You know, everyone are attached to our names. Somewhere we need to think about institutionalizing ourselves and ensuring that we move upward. Today, let me tell with you all, friends, you know, when I was actually creating the firm in 2005, though my father's practice is there from 1973, he told me to start my own practice. I could have started in the firm by name Dayanivas and Company. But very thoughtfully, thank God, thank my grandfather, he gave me that vision. The grandfather was not there that time, but he blessed me in whichever way possible. I ensured that the firm name is not on my name, it is on my father's name. So whichever partner is aligned with me, he doesn't feel that Dayanivas and Company is Dayanivas Sharma. So I got a person above me. You understand my point? Up above me, that means I am below that person. So somewhere we have to assign technically that, you know, our name should be detached and we need to align more and more people. Why? You know, if you talk from the Kerala point of view, Verma and Verma has become a very large firm at the national level. Why is it so? Just think it over for a moment. You will get all your answers. Brahma and Company, why it is large in South? You know, there are such many number of firms which have actually become, because that is actually institutionalized itself to make it big. It is above all, and all the below things are other partners are equal, and individual partner is a value in the system. So we need to get away from that, you know, own name concept. I may lose my identity, I may not be anywhere, I might become zero. Nothing will happen. Everything can happen if we want to do it right. Client switches over to large firms when its business needs increase. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Any other people who can respond to this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I want few more yes or no's.
So some are coming in the
Yes,
chat
sir.
box.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now the point is,
There is one more challenge. Like a few years back, a client of ours, which have been with us for 10, 15 years, before the
Yeah.
rotation started. Now that is a listed company. When there was a private equity investment from Bearings, that is a Asian regional label. The private equity investment came. This client was with us for a long time, and then one of the conditions which the private equity put in was that all the investee companies in India, investment companies are audited by Big Four, and therefore the statutory orders have to change. So
correct.
that is another
So-
challenge where you know, that kind of without network, without branding, it's a very specific situation. But this is probably, I thought, is relevant when you discuss asking
Yes.
for responses. Back to you.
Yes, I completely agree, Joman. And more importantly, I would like to tell everyone that, you know, this is something which we are actually considered. What Joman is talking about, creating a brand value, is actually going to be the discussion which I'm going to take it in the networking guidelines. This is something very interesting. Please note, because we could not always create the brand value because we had multiple restrictions on it, right? Joman, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes.
That was one of the most important part where we could not actually market ourselves well. But now in the networking guidelines, we are allowing certain interesting things to happen. And the need of R is to venture into non-traditional practice areas, which is no doubt about it. Specialization and forming large structure by networking. See, this is a fact, because the movement, what is happening is, when a private equity is investing, they want to know whether you have an international tax expert, you have a custom expert, you have a you know, RBI compliances expert. Yes or no?
Very yes.
If you are only an audit firm, he'll say, yeah, I can't work with you because I have so many other transactions which I need to look into. So are we actually able to add more partners, or we are able to connect with some more people? But the moment you're talking about connecting with some more people, they are saying that instead of going outside, let me go to the Big Four or Big Six or Big Eight or Big 10. So now the time has been, you know, where we need to add more and more people. And there's a beautiful concept which we are going to discuss at length, right? So now, this is something which is very important. Please read it. Steps so far outside your comfort zone that you forget how to get back. I want everyone to forget what was past. I want everyone to forget what was past and just go so far that you need not come back to that road again. And it is time where we need to ensure that, you know, we move one more step ahead, because we have to give something new to the next generation. That is the concept which we want to make it apply to almost everything. The Prime Minister vision of making 100 big Indian CF firms is something is kept in mind, and opportunity of pooling of resources, expertise, combined strength. Just see this picture. I would like to tell you, just see this picture independently. When things are placed, it comes like a crown of a king, and you will rule the market. And this is realistic. This is realistic. I'm not telling you. I might be sitting in Hyderabad. Joman might be sitting in Cochin. X is sitting in Mumbai. Another person is sitting in Delhi. I should be in position to showcase together what we are. Might be in my own city, town, there might not be an expert, but I have an opportunity to get aligned with someone. And this alliance, even though it was existing till today, the fact is, it was not being recognized in the eyes of many people, including the private equity guys, new investors, bank, financial institution, anywhere you talk about. Now, this networking guidelines is going to give you this new thing, which is actually going to, why do you have to do the networking? One, I am going to combine my resources. Individually, I might only buy a particular software, but there are softwares which alone I cannot buy. So if I pool up resources, pool up money, pool up assets, pool up offices, just imagine alignment, pooling of resources will result in pooling of people, will result in pooling of assets, ultimately giving you benefit of cost optimization, increase in service line, and market penetration. You agree or not? And this can actually come out of only by inorganic growth. This will only come out only with inorganic growth. If you have to create a confidence among people to become partner one after another, it might be a challenge. Please remember this. It might be a challenge. Can I do it inorganically? By mergers, by networking, by alliances? This is where the deliberation has actually come, right? So let me just take you to the discussion of where and what the making big firms mean. We have created two models, which have ultimately three models in the networking guidelines. One is called the alliance model and two are called network model, right? I'll just share with you what it is. This is the structure which is there. The alliance model, which is approach 1A, approach 2B. In B, you have B1, B2. Alliance model, I'm going to discuss in detail why this entire three categorization have been made. Because some people have been thinking that I'm going to lose my identity if I go and merge with someone, right? So what we thought is, let us do one thing. In a very lighter note, if you agree, I'll make one statement. It's a boyfriend-girlfriend story, which is alliance model, right? Networking model is live-in relationship or engagements, right? Then we have merger, which is basically getting married. All the three relations are being maintained in this particular thing. Let me come together and work with you and understand what it is. How we can work together, can we do it? Then let me network together. What is the difference between the two I'm going to talk about. But before that, we need to understand the concept of 3 R's which has been introduced in the entire networking guideline. Right? The 3 R's are this: registered, recognize, and regulate. These 3 R's, kindly remember. Registered means whether you are alliance, which is model A, B1 or B2, you need to get yourself registered with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, because you'll get a thappa saying that yes, this is a registered body. Number 2, recognized for the purpose of all my empanelments. For the purpose of all my empanelments, I can actually combine strength, I can take and apply. So what is happening in alliance? It will not be recognized by the C&AG or RBI or any other bodies, regulatory bodies. But this will be actually a registered organization with particularly set up within the Act of Institute, right? Whereas in case of network, it will be recognized. We are going to put our best efforts that C&AG and RBI and all other regulators recognize the network model. Why? I'm going to discuss in detail. And importantly, regulate, right? In this particular regulation, there is a beautiful discussion which has been made out, which I'm going to take it forward. So please remember these 3 R's in mind when we are going to discuss all the new agendas. So registered, recognize, regulate. These 3 are the concepts which are being thought in the mind. And friends, I can tell you one thing. There is, if you please go and search anywhere in the world institute, if they have this model in the institute, not outside, in the institute, if any institute in the world have this model, I tell you, I'll give you a fantastic party or might be a prize money. There is no such institute. I've done my own analysis, right? Now let us take an example of what the alliance model is all about. I'll just take you to the first step, right? This is the first step. Different firms come together to form an alliance with a new name of alliance and continue to practice independently. Means if Dayanivas and company, Mujib company, Rajesh company, Jamshid company, all are going to be independent. One second. All are going to be independent, right? So that means we are only going to come together to work together. So I'm going to talk about this in this slide. Firms come together for mutual benefit. It is only a mutual benefit, right? Then the name of the alliance will be given in a name and style like ABCD if 4 firms come together, or ABCD and alliance. There will be a TAPPA, registered name will be there for you. Now you have to go and register, so you will get an alliance registration number also with the institute, right? And this entire thing, for all your information and benefit, this entire networking guidelines is now going to be part of the SSP portal, where I am now the in charge for last 2 years. I'm continuing to be there. The SSP portal, you can actually register your all alliance model, network model, or whatever it is. It is just click of button. You need not wait for anyone, right? You will get an alliance registration number. Constituent firms can carry on practice as independent firms. That means, let us take an example. I have a firm in Hyderabad. I am actually auditor of Dr. Reddy's, and Dr. Reddy's has a setup of distributors in Kerala. There are different states in which, in different cities in which Kerala, they have distributors. So what I'll do, I'll hold this audit. Then I can do one thing. When I want to do a stock audit or anything, I can tell that, look, my alliance is a registered body with the institute, and my associate partner is going to work on this particular thing, right? And the most important part is, I'll continue my practice, you will continue your practice. Only thing, I have to pay you something, I have to take take something. That's it. Display of alliance name in professional stationery is to be permitted. Just imagine, if you're putting in your stationery, rather than putting Lakshmi Nivas and Company Chartered Accountants, I'll put ABCD Alliance. I am a network firm of this particular alliance, and having offices in all these cities. Will it make difference when you put it before the client, right? At least visually there will be an impact which will be there. Just turn on your letterhead, put it in the back. In 20 cities I am working. I have my association. This is a registered body with the institute, right? Alliance may direct constituent firms to follow best practice. I may direct. If there is an alliance which has been made among 10 firms, they may direct, how the best practices should work. I'll talk about this. Just remember, all these points are very important. Multiple firms, members. You can be only a member of an alliance, but not a network. If you are a member of network, you cannot become member of alliance. Either one you have to opt, right? Then empanelment purpose. You can independently apply all your empanelments. No problem. You can continue doing all other things. The reason of coming together is only for non-audit services. Because the audit services, I am going to get it on my firm name. So you cannot sign on my behalf. So that is the point which we are trying to drive, right? Independence. Independence should be kept in mind very clearly from a point of view that if I am the statutory auditor, an alliance member cannot be an internal auditor, right? Or in case of associate, rotation, it cannot be taken by another firm of the alliance, because we are actually coming together to form one unit. And where I am the statutory auditor, you are doing internal audit? No. If I am the statutory auditor, you are doing non-tax or non-audit services? No. Whatever the regulations which are there as per the institute, it will be complied with, right? Now, the next one, referral. The best part in this is referral. Referral is primarily allowed with regards to sharing of revenues. permitted, no problem. Jao, share karo revenue. Sab log milke kaam karo, sab log, everyone share the revenue. Signing to be done by the partner of the firm, which is actually the partner which the assignment is there with. Firm responsible for delinquencies, primarily that firm only will be responsible. Code of ethics, joining and exiting firm, anyone can enter, anyone can exit at any given point in time. Reconstitution should be recorded with the institute. Work completion should be done by the firm which has been given the assignment. Bylaws and alliance should be made. You know, you need to have a regulatory, a framework within which you are going to work together. There should be a commitment. Confidentiality among alliances, obviously, Pai sir, it has to be part of your bylaws which you are going to frame it for your alliance, which has to be included in this. Agreements, this is where I am talking about. It should be included. Alliance shall have to submit to ICI. They have to submit a copy of to ICI. This is very important. So just keep this in mind for a moment. I am taking you to the next one, which is basically network. The network is primarily, if you see, mutual benefit by pooling of resources, showcase their combined strength, and have uniform policies, technology, and collateral. Like any of the big four is doing, they have anywhere, any firm you go, you have to follow it in a particular manner. I cannot change the documentation. I cannot change the audit approach. That means I am actually strengthening the quality of the firm to ensure that we all follow one best practice. Because tomorrow, after 5 years, I might get into a merger model where all my firm practices will be same. It can be in the name of ABCD affiliates, or it can be ABCD network. It is to be recognized, again registered also. Network decision prevail of other firms. That means the networking guidelines are holding the entire firms which are associated with the network in totality. Because we want to make it focused and we want to get recognized as one unit. If I am doing an audit in Hyderabad and Jamshed is doing audit in Kerala, our both documents should look similar. It cannot be different. He is following one style, I am following another style and saying that I am one big firm. No, we want all the people to follow one best practice in the entire firm, right? And they should follow the entire guideline. Seventh one, because all other things, branding you are allowed, multiple firms you cannot be, empanelment process, all firm belonging to the network can apply to empanelment separately as an individual firm. Now, what is the advantage of this? I'll tell you something. There might be 10 firms which are coming together, right, to form a big unit. If I tomorrow go to CNAG or RBI and say that, my network is such strong, kindly consider this, because I am spread across the length and breadth of the country. You please ensure, you give us work of multiple, like NTPC, Power Grid, banks, any other institutions which are there, they can actually recognize you all together and consider you as one unit and give you one large assignment. Independence we talked about, right? The next one.
Dayaji, can I
yes,
interrupt?
sir. Yeah.
On the empanelment, when you say that the empanelment has to be individually done, will CNDG or any corporate, large corporate for that matter, it is a different scene because it's a private sector. But CNDG or a bank for that matter, will they take note of the network, because we individually empaneling? I am empaneling as JVR, you are empaneling as Lakshmi Nivas and Co. So will that be taken note of, and will that size get recognition?
I'll tell you, Joman, a
very good question. On
rather.
point 7 of the slide, yeah.
Yes, the point 7 here, and one more point in the next slide will actually answer that. We have already given this entire concept to Ministry of Corporate Affairs already. President Sir himself has taken up this matter and given it to Ministry of Corporate Affairs to get the recognition for this entire. So the ball is started rolling, right? So in this particular case, we are independent firms which are empaneling, but we are requesting that you consider. But in the next slide, which is B2 model, where we are talking about a lead firm, the other firms which are of the network will not be taking empanelment, whereas these firms are going to tell the lead firm, look, you take all the credit of my firm and make one strong firm, which is a lead firm, which is again going to be discussed at length. I'm going to take it forward, right? So here, when you talk about the empanelment, I think I have answered you a couple of points, but I'm going to take further more questions in the time to come. Referral allowed, signing by the firm which is appointed will be done. Firm responsible for any mishap will be that firm which is signing the report. Code of ethics should be followed. Joining and exit, easy to come, easy to go. Only reconstitution to be done with the institute, right? Work completion, right? It should be any firm leaving it, but the balance left out firm will be allowed to complete the work. Quality control or is well documented and compiled with, right? That has to follow one particular process. Integration agreement. This is where I was talking about. Firms should be bound by networks integration agreement. That means all the procedures which all the firms have to follow, they have to be at one level. Their documentation procedures, your office or my office, Joman, should look almost alike, like every branch of any bank looks alike, right? And more importantly, at least not that much, your attendance mechanism, my attendance mechanism, your documentation way, my documentation way, your colors of your office, my color of my office. It should be all in line with the entire thing, as if it is looking as a one big unit, right? Then signing should be in individual names, right? Bylaws and alliance, which I talked about, is the same thing. You need to create your own. No, it should not be alliance, it should be network, right? I am taking you to the next one, which is an important one, because all other conditions are going to be more or less same. Here, the most important point is, again, the first point is to become one big unit, affiliates or network, whichever name you want to use. Registration is to be done. Here, independent practice, right? This is the most important part in the entire three different things. First thing, if you remember, in alliance, the point is very simple. We are just coming together in one particular umbrella, but we are not going to follow. I'll follow mine, you follow yours, whoever follow whoever's, no problem. But only thing is, we are coming together, having a proper memorandum of understanding that, you know, we are going to comply with all these things. Let us, you do it, let me do it, so that we have confidence in each other and we move forward. Number two is network. Rather than creating multiple servers, multiple mail IDs, multiple this, multiple that, multiple software which we need to buy, we will pool up all our resources and make it one big unit, follow the standard set of practice, what we need to do. In case of D2 model, here, constituent firms are bound by integral agreement, recognizing one of the firms as a lead firm, right? And more important, network decision prevails upon all the firms. That means, though I am recognizing one firm as a lead firm, all the firms of the network have their say to form a particular arrangement, which is primarily defined in a like a policies and procedures. All firms will be participating only for a purpose of a lead firm. Might be one firm which is the oldest firm, right, which is going to get maximum number of points. I might allow that firm to be a lead firm. Alternatively, a new firm is there, but which has more number of partners, might tell that firm to be ahead. Might be there is a possibility that one of the senior most firm of Kerala is saying, okay, 5, 7, 10 firms come together. One senior firm, only I don't want to get into any litigation. Let me actually make the senior most firm as a lead firm, which I can change every time. That's not a problem. I have a lead firm which has been defined. Accordingly, I'm actually aligning the entire thought process, right? Any questions which are there, note down. I'm going to discuss, answer all the things. Empanelment process. Lead firm is entitled to apply for empanelment in its own name, but by way of integral agreement and in behalf of the entire network. As I told you, I explained you what is the thought process. Other constituent firms cannot apply for networking because I am going to take all the points of the firm together. Total number of partners, total number of experience, all the C&AG and RBI criteria will be fulfilled there itself. The most important part is the signing should be done by the firm which is appointed, which is the lead firm. If everyone wants to be partner of the lead firm, you decide, you do what you want. You can have your own firm and also have a lead firm in the entire process, which, right, most important part is here, work completion. This is something which was being deliberated for almost one full meeting. You know, when we are telling that, you know, you take the lead firm, tomorrow a lead firm will take the assignment and run away. What will you do? Unfortunately, the trust itself is missing out in that. So what we said is, if the lead firm is moving out of the network, then the lead firm should actually pay the share of profits to all the network firm as per the agreement. You don't have an exception. Boss, you have taken the work, good. Let us not dissolve. It is on your name. Keep it with you. But as per the agreement, there is a criteria which is written. If that firm is moving out, it has to share that revenues with all the network. I think the problem will be addressed there, if you primarily ask me, right? So these are couple of very interesting discussions which we have made it, and we have put it into a particular structure. What is the content of the new networking guideline? First is the outlines, which we have discussed, identify the concerns, which we talked about, discuss the need of networking, which we talked about. Then fourth is basically which are the models which are there. And most importantly, the fifth part is the entire book. I'll just share it with you. I'll show you. Hope you are able to see this book. Right? This book in soft form as well as hard form is available in the institute site. If anyone is not getting, kindly call me. I'll give you. In this, if you see all my applications, all the format of applications, everything is here. Now this we are converting into SSP portal, so that all these forms, like we are applying for firms, you can actually integrate your firms, and you can go into alliance model or networking model through the set itself. Example, 5 firms come together, right? 5 firms to come together, they can click and they can be associated and aligned, and they'll get the registration number. So this, the fifth part is about the entire details. So this is again further divided. What is it? You can actually go through in detail. This is a message. I just wanted to put this only for one reason, that how this entire document is being divided, you will get to know, right? Then let us come to the next important part. How many of you have heard corporate form of practice? How many of you have heard corporate form of practice? You can just raise hand. None. 2, 1. Okay, only 1. If you have not heard, I am going to share some earth-shattering thoughts of institute which has been implemented. Hats off to all those council members. Hats off to all those past presidents of our institute who actually ensured that we all get benefited. But unfortunately, we are not aware of certain facts, which is a surprise for most of us. Today, I'm going to share something very alarming and very interesting for our members. This is corporate form of practice. This was introduced way back, I think in 2005 or 7, if I'm not wrong. One second, I'll tell you the right date. This was introduced in 2006. It was introduced in 2006. I'll just highlight certain very interesting parts in this, where this one. The beauty of this entire thing is, if you form a private limited company, right? Any name you tell, example, Joman will have a firm. He can also form a private limited company in corporate form of practice. He can hold a certificate of practice and also be a member, managing director of this corporate form of practice. He can hold certificate of practice and also be a managing director of this private limited company, right? And most important part is, he's allowed, if he doesn't want to run the firm, say example, and he wants to only open a corporate form of practice, he is allowed to open only corporate form of practice. He will be allowed and entitled to all the benefits which are there otherwise as a chartered accountant to you, except one thing, that you cannot sign a balance sheet. Except one thing, that you cannot sign a balance sheet. If you hold both corporate form of practice and a firm, yes, you are allowed no point deduction, all consideration accepted. You can sign in the firm and do all the consulting in the private limited company. And the most important part is second one, if you read, no restriction on the quantum of equity holding of the member, either individually and or along with his relative in such company. Can you imagine this was there in 2006? This was being thought about. Entitled to train articles, entitled to have your own firms. You can actually create a company which provides management consultancy services. How many of you were aware on this? In firm, we cannot do certain things. In private limited company, we can do certain things. I don't want to talk in detail. You all understood what I'm trying to tell.
There, small interruption again. Here,
Sir.
When you look into the guidelines deep dive, the management consultancy company cannot render a non-audit service to an audit client of the firm.
Yes. So, sir, that guidelines is that provision is applicable to your networking and alliance model also. Why?
Yeah.
Because you are in, you will not be independent after that. That is the global perspective which is there. So that will be considered. But most of the time, Joman, I'll tell you one simple answer. You want me to give the real answer behind it?
Yeah, please.
In a partnership firm or a proprietary concern as chartered accountant, you cannot take fees on percentage basis. But in case of MCS, you can take fees on percentage basis. Okay. Is this one answer sufficient?
It will be to non-audit other services to non-audit clients only. Normally, what happens is today, because of section 144 of the Companies Act, restriction on multidisciplinary services, it says directly or indirectly.
Yes.
Even your spouse or a brother or somebody becoming a director therein, and then trying to render non-audit services to an audit client through the management consultancy.
Non-audit services, Joman, see, there are many chartered accountants who are not interested to do, practice, audit practice.
Yeah.
There are many chartered accountants who are interested to do consultancy services.
Absolutely.
But in that case, you will be allowed to actually take articles and train articles also. Okay, you will be allowed to take investment from your relatives also. So there are different kind of advantages. As a practicing firm, certain disadvantages are there. As a practice unit, that is a different advantage which is there.
All right. Okay.
As a MCS firm, right?
Forensic audit can be in that way. Forensic audit that can be do in that way.
Yes, you are perfectly right, sir. If you want to do forensic audit, pooling of all resources, come together, make a big private limited company. You do IBA practice, you do valuation practice, you do systems audit practice. You can do anything. Joman, today, if the articles which are available at a price which we are getting, or might be, initial cost of your setup will drastically come down.
I will interrupt. I don't know who was the member who talked about forensic audit. In that context, I'm not contesting anything that you're trying to say. But when we try this, the forensic audit, see, my firm, we are 8 partners, and the forensic audit, 2 of the partners are qualified. So if we get a forensic audit assignment, this firm can do. Okay. But then not of a audit client. For example, we are the statutory auditors of, let's say, as you said, Dr. Reddy's. We are the statutory auditors of, let's say, Eastern, which is a company in Kerala. So if they want to get a forensic audit done, our firm cannot do because of 144.
Yes.
So that is going to apply. So by having an MCS company also, this problem is not solved. That is the point I'm trying to drive home.
No, I completely agree, Joman. What I'm trying to tell you, the counter answer to that is, that is not resolved. But many of the people would not like to go for an audit practice license. Rather, they want to have a corporate form of practice, which can actually do something more for them. Right?
Yeah. Okay. There again, if you're not holding COP, there is no restriction at all. You can have management consultancy company, you can advertise also.
No, advertising guidelines will apply, but our advertisement guidelines have been actually
sir, only if you're holding revised. COP, right?
Yeah.
Okay, please carry on, sir. I was only sharing some of the concerns which are not fully addressed, but the presentation is excellent. Please continue.
Sir. Yeah, sure. So the what are all the contexts which are can be done in the management consultancy services? This is what it is there, right? Oh, up to hey, yeah, I think I took little more time, right?
No, you have time up to 5 o'clock. No, 3 to 5 is the
Okay,
session.
sorry, 3 to 5 is the section, right? Because the another part is there. So this entire management consultancy activities can be actually done by all the chartered accountants in this MCS activity. Now, what is left out is mergers and multidisciplinary practice. Now, mergers and demergers have been the direct answer for many of the people, and there were many people who are actually getting away because they were getting into merger, and though they have 5 years time to demerge and come back and take back the standing of the firm, but still certain failures and successes have been there, and I have also been part of this entire learning experience. So that is a different thing. But mergers can actually happen. Just imagine, I was running a property or individual firm I was running, or two partners firm I was running. Earlier I was having the networking guidelines which was very rigid, which was not allowing me to actually very freely work. So what happened in the entire process is, people were not moving towards the networking guideline. They didn't want to go to the merger model because they were not having that comfort whether I can actually get married or not, whether I should move forward or not. Third, after this, then the criteria of 5 years criteria has been put, but still people were not willing to actually go for a merger. They had a reservation and all, but at least after seeing the statistical numbers, we should think about what we want to apply and how we want to move forward. And the most important, thanks to Shekhar sir, who actually ensured that this entire MDP, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, was the first institute in the country among the 3 or 4 who actually agreed to incorporate this multidisciplinary practice. Means now I can partner with, being a chartered accountant, I can partner with company secretary, I can partner with cost accountant, I can partner with lawyer, engineer, valuer, any other professional discipline which has been defined in our MDP practice. Now the point is, the criteria which has been put by ICI is, if you want to do a multidisciplinary practice and want to partner with other disciplines, at that point in time, the strength of the chartered accountant should be more than other people. That is the criteria which has been put, but that is today or tomorrow. This entire multidisciplinary practice, we are again going to come with the MSS portal. This entire multidisciplinary practice is coming to list down how you can actually partner with company secretaries, cost accountants, lawyers, valuers, and all those people. So this is one more advantage which is going to be there. Now the next part is something very interesting, right? Let me just take you through something very interesting and very, very lucrative. We have 37 international chapters, 27 international representative office, and 2 international overseas offices. Friends, ICI is the only body which has actually reached out to these many locations. And the time has come that, all this, like example, Dubai, Joman knows it well. How many chartered accountants are there in Dubai? Close to 7,000?
Not as much, sir. I think Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah together is close to 4,500. Less than
So
5,000.
4,500. The entire GCC, if you take, it will be that much.
More, because
right?
Saudi, Oman, there's a huge number.
Right. So we can open an international chapter if we have 25 members. That means we have 37 locations in the world where there are 20, and these people who are actually members and who are running the chapters have been in the biggest position. Time has come where we need to get aligned with these people and ensure that how we can get connected to do certain, accounting, outsourcing, burn, technology related work, any other aspect. There are ultimate number of things which we can actually do it. So now the time has come to reach out to these 37 international chapters and connect. Arun, I would request all the 3 branch chairmen. I request you that you call the chairmen of this respective branch chapters, who will come and share what are the opportunities and how they can get connected you with the respective opportunities which are there in that specific country, like Australia, Singapore, Netherlands, USA, multiple locations in USA, Europe, Africa, everywhere we have our chartered accountants who are sitting there, and we are able to, are we actually thinking to connect with these people? Have we thought about connecting with these people? In this pandemic, we have learned how to use technology effectively, right? And the cloud computing has become one of the most crucial one. Going forward, it is going to be the low cost markets are going to be the future opportunities for us in every aspect, in totality. I am telling you, because if you see US or Europe, lot of youngsters have not come into accounting practice. They have actually moved to something else, and the thickness of the professional opportunities in the international market, for us it is increasing, but for them it is decreasing. European market has very less number of chartered accountants or their CPAs. Now it is time where we need to go and do it. How do we go and do it? We have got some MOUs and MRAs signed, right, with various institutes across the country and across the globe, right? Let us take an example of this first one, MOU with Canada. You have so many things which is available for you. A qualified chartered accountant, member of the institute, and remain registered with ICI as a member. ICI member are exempted from practical training module. Like we have articles, they have practical training module, capstone 1 and 2, which is not there. If you are more than 2 years of post-qualification experience and recognized degree, or more than 5 years of post-qualification experience without recognized degree, you have to write only 1 or 2 papers to be qualified for the Canadian examination, and you will be a Canadian chartered accountant or CPA. That means if we have an institute chapter in Canada and you are a qualified CPA professional from Canada, automatically it will become a double-edged advantage, right? Similarly, let me just take you this one, South Africa. Free mein degree le jao. It is free. Rather, I can tell you what it is saying. 2 years of post-qualification experience are exempted from initial test of competency, practical training, and you know what advantage? The reverse is not for them. It is for them to come and give us this all benefits. We do not give any benefits. Competency assessment test need to be written. If a member is a good standing, fulfills the competency requirement of SAICA, right, he'll be granted membership in South Africa. You have a chapter in South Africa, kindly go and check. Similarly, United Kingdom, Australia, right, New Zealand, which will be there. See the list of countries where we have exclusive arrangement which are being done. So these are all the different kind of advantages which are available for us, rather than only waiting for the tax audit and GST, even to explore these opportunities itself. I can talk about each and every line item in detail. In detail. For your information, friends, Joman, do you know that your chartered accountant degree, right?
Yes, sir.
You can sign the financial statements in Mauritius. You need not have a separate degree.
Oh, really?
Nepal, you can sign it. There are many such countries you are allowed, your signatures are allowed. So you can actually go and practice there also. And one of the most important part, friends, which I would like to say, as per the ICI Act 1949, right? Chairman sir, listen, it is very interesting. There is no restriction to open office anywhere in the world. You can have office anywhere in the world. How much is there for us? Can we just imagine about this? Now, what is the next opportunities that need to be explored? Might be we need to do a detailed session on the dashboard, data analytics, and MIS reporting, which is the most crucial thing. And today, all industries, friends, MSME, Rajesh said, the definition of MSME is increased to 250 crores turnover.
Yes.
They don't have CFOs, right? They don't have CFOs, but the compliance and the now decision making is becoming very critical. Act as a virtual CFO, give services of dashboard or data analytics or MIS reporting, and tell them that, look, you cannot afford the CFO and you cannot afford my full-time cost. Rather, let me come and guide you how you need to structure your entire business. There is a huge opportunity. I'm not joking. If you want, I can share what fees I have generated last year during this pandemic itself in this services. It's close to 40 lakh rupees, Joman. Only 3 things I have touched upon. SME with virtual CFO giving services of dashboard and data analytics. Because people are not there with them. They don't understand. They want to understand what are all the compliances which we need to do. right? International liaison, which I was talking about, if you are able to qualify one of these exams which has been listed there, connect with the chapter chairmen there, connect with an opportunity there. Might be today you are not able to travel, but today everyone has time to get connected over virtual. Kindly ensure that it has been taken. Forensic accounting and investigation services, huge opportunity which is coming up, big one. And people have not explored that also till now. Internal process assessment and regulatory compliance framework. I'll tell you one thing, regulatory compliance framework, NOCLAR, is actually an opportunity for people, because as per SA, which one, Joman, 330 or what it is, laws and regulations to be complied and reported.
250,
on.
sir. I said 250.
250, sorry, 250, where it was forming part of standard on auditing. Now it is forming part of code of ethics, that the chartered accountant who certified, he has to actually certify all the regulations. That means if the company is there, what are all the laws and rules applicable to them, they have to certify that. So that itself, you know, what is the cost of one software, Joman, which is
Yes,
sold
sir.
by one big four on the compliance part? 15 lakh rupees is the cost of one software license. And our chartered accountants can actually pull up together, make a kind of bucket which can list down all the laws in that in structured way, and go and give a services to your clients.
Yeah.
FDI and FEMA is big opportunity. Just imagine PLI scheme, right? Pharma ka PLI scheme. If you want me to share something very interesting and important, in the country, 205 applications were being filed. I am proudly saying this because I want to trigger the minds of people and I want a competition there, right? Please listen to it. Very interesting. 205 applications were filed. 54 were filed by one firm, and next best was two firms. Two applications were filed by one firm. So the next best was a big four, and the first one was my firm.
Oh, good. Congrats.
So we got
Congratulations.
approval for few thousands of crores of investment, performance linked incentive to be paid back to the company. So these are all the opportunities which are coming in for all our members. Rather than looking into those all, regular things, it is important that we get into some new and different things. I ask one question to you. We have in the entire essence of this discussion, right? Tell me, where is the captain in this? Tell me, where is the captain in this when we won the World Cup?
Attitude, and it's inside the brain, sir.
Right? Because we all are stuck with one thought that, I might lose my identity, I might lose my ownership. At that point in time, when this entire team was lifting the World Cup, where was the captain of Indian cricket team? He was playing with his daughter, and he left the cup for all the members of the team to play. Obviously, captain is going to be captain always, whether he won it, he's there or not there. We all are sitting like one individual on a big ground, which is a big opportunity for all of us. If you want to win, you think that you are a captain of Indian cricket team, who was playing with their daughter when all the people were running around the ground lifting the World Cup. Because let people enjoy that benefit, not us. The captain always has to be a role model in entire manner. The last one, not the least, it's time to come together. We all have the power to change. So what we are waiting for? Think it over. With this kind of opportunity which has been given by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which no other institute in the world gives, we are so much close to a reality and so much close to the growth model. It is the only thing is we need to lift our leg and move out of the comfort zone, which I was sharing with you. Friends, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be with you. I tried my level best to, give an input from my side that, what and how we have to actually start thinking differently, how we need to evolve ourselves, how we need to come out of the comfort zone, how we need to think that if I am a captain, let me play with my family and be with my family rather than, holding the cup. No one is going to be with us at that point in time. It's time that, coming together and synergizing together and making a big Indian firm will make a whole lot of difference. Kerala has been recognized all throughout for the best efforts which you all have put in. Recognized in a very large manner at the national and the international level. The highest literacy rate is in Kerala. Why not Kerala think about making the biggest firm by adopting this networking guidelines so that, we set an example to move forward. And it's a God's own country. It can be we all trust on each other. It is time where we need to think about a larger aspect of the entire thing and evolve into a larger firm in the process. If I have heard any sentiments of any people in this entire discussion, my apology for that. But yes, I only wanted to share with you all people what I feel to be right, which is going to be right for the time to come. I have adopted. Choice is yours if you want to adopt. Very simple. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for the beautiful session. It was really an eye-opener because majority of the people here would be on the common platform which you are selling the basics of tax audits or the normal audit. So it is really a good thing. Now it's an open session. I request all the members who have specific queries can unmute yourself and ask the queries. Even queries can even in the chat
no,
box.
I thoroughly confused everyone, I think. No, but the chat box says something else.
Yeah. So you will share this PPT to all the 3 branches, right?
100%, sir. Take it. No problem. It is not mine. It is for all the people benefit. See, I am here, as I told, I have adopted. It is time that you need to adopt to make it big. As simple as that.
Thank you.
Any question if anyone has?
So blockchain course is announced by institute, but it is not yet started.
It is starting, sir, very soon.
Oh.
We had some gaps in the institute because all the employees mostly were affected with Corona and they were not able to move forward, but now it is going to come up. Anything, sir, from my side?
Sir, recent.
Wonderful. Please, Arun.
Yeah, sir, can you just come up with the recent things with Digital Accounting Standards Board courses which they are doing out? The only courses of Digital Standards Board.
See, digital standard courses, please block your day on 22nd. As I was telling on the last week when we did on Sunday, we had 18,000 people participating. Yes. We are actually starting a discussion, deliberations every month on two Saturdays regularly. This Saturday 22nd is going to be one very good deliberation on how to approach for cyber security audit. So please block your time. And we are not going to talk on the 40,000 feet. We are going to talk on a 400 feet level where we are going to talk and discuss how you need to initiate yourself towards cyber security framework. Friends, do you know that there is a new, already a matter with regards to the insurance companies where the cyber security audit is to be done by chartered accountants? Might be sometime later, I'll come and talk about all those things. It's very interesting. And the next guideline, I'm happy to share with you all that, I have been nominated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of India on the board to frame the policy framework of cyber security, and the opportunity for chartered accountants is going to be huge, because not only insurance companies, brokers of insurance companies across the length and breadth of country are going to come into the discussion. So that we'll talk sometime later, but because it is in the initial framework, I don't want to say, but yes, start moving towards systems audit, start moving towards cyber security. And one thing which I would like to tell is to the seniors, which I always tell to the seniors, please, add youngsters in the team, young chartered accountants. Instead of opening in their own firms, kindly let them come and be part of your firm. And youngsters, I tell you one thing, don't reinvent wheel. Try to go and associate with some seniors to ensure that you are moving in a right direction, because experience, laws is same. The only approach and mechanism is changed. So the experience for that law and understanding of income tax, GST, company law is going to be with those experienced people only. If you want to reinvent the entire wheel, you are not going to get anything great. now don't think into a proprietary concerns, because see, recent, Joman, you will agree, the recent RBI new guidelines
Yes.
which has come, they are not recognizing. Please understand how much institute is going to go and fight for.
Yes.
We cannot go and tell again and again, my firm's
We are
chartered accountants
planning
are only.
we are planning a panel discussion on that new RBI directions on audit, rotation of auditors, the entry level qualifications and all that. We're planning a panel discussion. That's really shocking. And then size is really going to matter, as you rightly said.
See,
One is
yeah,
growing in size, two is seniors adding young blood, and of course youngsters aligning with firms where there's particularly firms which do not have a succession plan. Many of the chartered accounts have been able to do that. Sole practitioner bringing in another young chartered account, and slowly the practice gets into a partnership, and then slowly the senior partner retires and he gets a value also. Otherwise, it goes completely, there's no value, there's no goodwill if he
correct.
kicks the bucket, which has happened in many cases in Kerala. So succession planning is something which is very important. So that is a way where well-meaning firms can look at inorganic growth also, as you said. Those firms which
And
has a decent clientele, we can inorganically think of growing as well.
yeah, and more importantly, Joman, times to come, concurrent audit will also be not given to proprietary concerns. They want a partnership
Sir,
firm only to be
I
given.
always used to say there are certain things which in common with these three branches members who have heard me would agree there are a lot of certain things in common which you have discussed on charging fees, agreeing upon that, collecting promptly, and specialization is the key today. I have stopped my tax practice 7 years back. GST when came in, a new partner was empowered and he's the one in charge. So everyone doing everything going to be difficult. Adding partners,
Not
yes.
possible.
Adding partners, yes. We are 7 partners in Kerala and 1 outside. So that way, there are ways of growing and getting together. Newer areas, yes. One thing which when you talked about that 40 lakhs of billing, 2 years back, the SEIS, so the Service Export India Scheme, and MEIS, SEIS not yet notified for 1920. Just incidental to this, MEIS has been replaced with that road trip or something, remission of duty on exports, etc.
Yes.
And where it is really lucrative. Many of the clients do not know. Of course, tie up with the FI or something like that. And we do had a huge revenue from the CIS advisory and making the application to the DGFT. Everything is online. It's just setting the track right. So there are a lot of ways where we have to get out of the routine practice, and session has been wonderful as usual with all the relevant statistics, right from the 3,87,000. That's a new number which we always saw. We are talking about 3,50,000. So membership has gone over 3,87,000. So maybe with one more result, it will touch 400,000. So which is still 0.02% of India's population. So there is potential everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we have any more questions, we can take up, else we can get to the valedictory session. Okay, so now I call upon Vinod sir, Chairman Palakkad branch, to have the proceedings.
Thank you, Arun sir. Thank you very much. Respected luminaries and members of Institute, good evening to all. Yes, this pandemic taught us many new ways and new opportunities to move forward in life as well as in our profession. Then the nation and world is suffering from this COVID-19 disease. In this situation, request all our members to provide support to the extent possible to all our family members and also to the society. Kindly be in touch with nears and dear ones and say hello whenever it's possible. When it comes to our today's session enlightened us on professional opportunities and networking. And really, sir, this is an out-of-box thinking. And before coming to the session, myself thought of having a networking maybe in Palakkad or in Kerala. Now it's gone beyond nation, and also it can reach the international level. With this, and it's a need of the hour, and we got the right session. And we thank you, CA Dayananda Sharma sir, Central Council member, for providing us the appropriate guidance on this new era. Thank you, sir. I also take this opportunity to thank our regional council member and past SARC chairman, our own CA Jomon sir, for his
Yes, sir.
valuable time. Though he told that he will be leaving in between, and he took his time and he was there with us complete session. Thank you very much, sir, for providing his valuable time for this trio seminar. That is trio.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I also place on record our special gratitude to CA Arun Subramaniam, sir, chairman of Kozhikode branch, for his coordination and making this trio event a grand success. Also need to mention the contribution from CAPA Reggie Kannur, branch chairman. The support from all the managing committee members are also acknowledged with the thanks on this occasion. We all know the success of any program depends on the participation of the members. With this overwhelming response from our members, which made the event a grand success. From the bottom of it, a big thanks to all the participants. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chairman,
Over to you,
sometime
Rajesh.
I'd love to come and talk on this one particular thing, way forward practice. We will discuss something,
Okay.
how the way forward practice should be. If you
Yes.
think it appropriate, just let me know. I'll love to come and share my views for your benefit. Nothing more.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you
we'll
very
okay, sir. So thank you, members. I hope everybody has the answers number. So in case you can, if you don't have the number, we'll just share the numbers. Sir, your number?
I'm just sharing it on the chat box.
Yeah.
I hope you got it.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
988-520029. Okay.
And anyone who requires any kind of thoughts from the new age practice, I'll be more than happy to, support or guide. Honestly, this is, if you can stop recording, this is non-political. I am honestly saying with my open heart, a person like Joman should be part of the council undoubtedly. But the point is very simple. If you think that, I can contribute as a brother in the entire system of any discussions where you think that, practice need to be developed in any form or any kind of statistical information is required where the new things are moving towards, I'll be more than happy to come and share, Joman. Be rest assured from my side, because Kerala, my father loves Kerala like anything. Unfortunately, last year because of pandemic, he could not come. This time also he could not come. He comes to Kozhikode for getting his treatment done at
Kottakkal.
what is it?
Kottakkal.
Kottakkal, yeah. So I have lot to pay back to Kerala because my father from last 13 years is coming to Kerala on a regular basis. And before that, he used to regularly visit all the cities for all good purposes.
Okay.
So I have lot to pay you back. So for that purpose.
No problem, sir. We'll make it up. We'll make it up. So thank you, Joman sir, and thank you, Dayanadhi sir. Thank you, Reggie sir, and Vinod sir, and all other members. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, members. Yeah.